on In Your Interest. The big story we're taking up is the bomb hoax nightmare that has gripped India's skies. Hoax bomb threats continue to plague Indian airlines and passengers. A wave of hoax bomb threats to Indian airlines were made in the past 2 weeks, with as many as 90 such posts made in the last week alone, nearly 100, causing suffering to thousands of people on these flights while adding to the financial woes of airlines. Reports suggest that nearly 70% of these threats were made from one single source, an anonymous, unverified account on social media platform X that posted threats to 46 domestic and international flights of Indian carriers in 2 days. These include Air India, Vistara, IndiGo, Akasa Air, Alliance Air, SpiceJet and Star Air. While Star Air received threats for 4 of its flights, others got similar messages for 5 flights each. One Twitter handle alone made 12 threats on Friday night and 34 on Saturday. The posts had an identical message. There are bombs on board 5 of your planes. No one will make out alive. Hurry up and evacuate the plane, unquote. Active till Saturday afternoon, the handle has been since suspended by the social media platform. Apart from all the pain and agony it causes to flyers like you and me, airlines are losing a substantial sum of money to these hoax threats. In the event of a hoax bomb threat, a security protocol kicks in. Boarding is halted or passengers are deboarded and authorities move scores of planes to isolation bays at airports for detailed checks. In the process, airlines shell out a hefty sum of money. This includes extra money for fuel, for landing and parking charges. The cost of putting up around 200 customers in different hotels if the flight doesn't take off overnight, and compensation to passengers for their time. The total cost of all expenditures, including fuel, comes in excess of 3 crore rupees per flight for an airline. Given Sunday to Thursday, Indian Airlines received around 40 hoax bomb threats on a single day. The extra expense incurred is close to 60 to 80 crore rupees already. In the month of June, more than 40 airports received hoax bomb threats via email in a single day. Between the years of 2014 and 2017, authorities recorded 120 bomb hoax threats at airports. The dramatic rise in bomb threats and social media from anonymous accounts has complicated efforts to identify the perpetrators. Hoax bomb threats are often linked to malicious intent, attention-seeking actions, mental health issues, or simply pranks. Last week, Indian authorities arrested a 17-year-old school dropout for creating a social media account to issue such threats. He is believed to have targeted 4 flights, 3 international, resulting in 2 delays, 1 diversion and 1 cancellation. While Indian law mandates life imprisonment for threats to airport safety or service disruption, the menace of hoax bomb threats is unabated. In the light of the problem, the government is now mulling legislation to ensure 5-year imprisonment, as well as placing offenders on a no-fly list for hoax bomb threats. Let's first listen to what India's Aviation Minister Ramo Naidu had to say.
We see that if we want to address these kind of threats that have been happening, or you want to take strict action against the people who are behind this when there is a fake or a hoax threat that they're trying to do, then we have to cover the act on the ground and at the airport also. So we are trying to make an amendment. Our legal team has worked very thoroughly on this, and we are coming up with an amendment, and then we are taking in, because this has to be a legal change in the act, we need a consultation from other stakeholders, other ministries also. So we are in that process right now, but we are definitely pushing forward to bring a change in the Suwaska Act also, so that it addresses for these kind of offences which happen when the flight is on ground, so that we can take strict action on them, we can make it cognizable offence. So that is one area that we are looking forward to. And when it comes to the offences that have already progressed, so over the last 7 days, over the last 1 week, if you look at the number, then 8 flights have been diverted. And many of the times, because we are keeping the situation dynamic, whenever these kind of threats are happening, we, especially our BCAS team and the ministry team, we are keeping the situation dynamic. We are assessing situation by situation, what kind of threat they are giving, are they mentioning the specific flight or the airport, or what kind of threat they are trying to showcase through their tweet or everything. On top of that, to efficiently tackle that situation, whatever is required, our BCAS has also been very immediate in trying to efficiently utilize the infrastructure that is there, or if they need to do any more.
And now we have a couple of special guests joining us to help us understand the situation better. We have Mr. Parvez Damania, aviation expert and one of the first players in India's aviation space joining us. Parvez, thank you so much for taking time out to be with us. We also have Mr. Kanish Gaur, CEO of India Future Foundation and former MD of Protivity joining us. Kanish, thank you for being with us. Let me begin with you, Parvez. Parvez, an airline loses well in excess of 3 crore rupees for every single flight that gets a bomb hoax threat. I mean, considering the situation that airlines are already fighting, this is difficult. It's a high cash flow business. A loss like this will only add pressure to India's evolving aviation landscape.
Thank you for inviting me to your show. You're absolutely correct. This is a huge financial pressure on the airlines. The financial pressure is just not that much. He goes out and then ends the subject. The snowballing effect is huge. Further flights get delayed, further flights get cancelled, passenger connections are lost, passengers have to be compensated, inconvenience to passengers. And the passengers 3 flights later won't understand why the flight is late. He's going to scream and shout. So this is a huge inconvenience. And I heard the minister, I think the government is taking every step possible to solve this matter. They fail to understand why suddenly this issue has become so big. In the past, these things used to happen, but very randomly and seldom. Now, suddenly, the number has increased tremendously. Plus, it has covered almost, I think, all airlines, which is also very, very bad. So, the laws definitely need to be amended. Laws need to be made more strict. Also, I think the government needs to start an awareness project. This issue is very serious, and these are the consequences if you do these kind of crazy things. And I hope this thing comes under control. It's definitely affecting the airline, not only financially, but even inconveniencing the passengers to a very, very high extent. So I think, right now what is happening, the Bombay police are doing their own thing, the Delhi police are doing their own thing. A national level body needs to be appointed to monitor the situation and sort this out. Of course, the government, you see, these people are using technology, whoever these people are. And I'm sure our government is using technology to the maximum effect. So ultimately, I hope this matter dies down because this is very, very serious. It's getting more and more serious every day. So let's just pray, hope that the government's action works, laws are amended, and this thing dies down as soon as possible.
Okay. Kanishk, the problem here is that the government is talking about, putting the perpetrators on a no-fly list and imprisonment and etc., etc. But the problem is identifying the perpetrators. First, you don't know where they are coming from because, they're random social media accounts. Yes, a 17-year-old was apprehended, but it's clearly not one 17-year-old.
See, we've made laws to tackle this, but the implementation of those laws haven't happened. We created the significant social media intermediary guidelines in June 2022, but the actual enforcement happens when such issues crop up. You also have to hold the social media platforms accountable. If it is happening via Twitter and you see fake news and misinformation being perpetrated on a regular basis, then how is the platform responding to it? By taking down this tweet or the actual handle, that hasn't happened on a timely basis. So we need stricter measures, enforcement, rather than bringing new law. I've heard the Honorable Minister talk about bringing out a new law, but using the existing law is definitely needed here. And the guidelines have to be made in a way that people are put behind bars for such perpetration, which has been done on a regular basis. I'm surprised the social media handle still remains, not suspended. Right? That's absolutely a no-go. This account should have been disabled. The perpetrator should have been captured. The second aspect is the VPN service providers who are still not following the law of the land by giving the details of these perpetrators. A lot of these perpetrators hide behind VPNs, and we have a law that VPN service providers have to provide the logs and the IP addresses. That has not happened.
Right, Parvez, in the event of us not being able to actually, identify who these people are, what can airlines do? What can strict laws do?
See, airlines can just follow the protocol, take maximum precaution possible, see that security checks are carried out to the maximum extent, But the airlines can't go after these people. It's only the government body and the law and the ministries can go after this. The airlines can only take precautions. Plus, sometimes people feel that should airlines follow up every threat possible? I think it's extremely important that the airlines should follow every threat as if it's real, follow the entire protocol, no matter what the cost, no matter what the time, no matter what inconvenience to passengers, but the entire protocol has to be followed. The airlines are in a fix because the minute the airlines get the information, they have to do whatever possible, divert, ground, take it to a secure bay. And these costs also would be astronomical when airlines aircrafts are diverted at international destinations. So the airlines just have to protocol now. Really, it's up to the government of India and the ministry and the BCAS to see how the perpetrators are brought to book, what legal action is to be taken, because the airline can't take any legal action. The airlines can only file a complaint. So I'm sure the government is working on it, and I hope some solution comes so that this becomes a very big saving grace for the airline, which is hitting the airline industry very badly right now.
The BCAS that you're talking about, the Bureau for Civil Aviation Security, did hold a meeting with all the big airlines in the country,
Yes,
the CEOs
correct.
of all the
They
big
did.
airlines in the country. What do you think the directive would have been from their end? Because what can airlines do if they get a threat? They have to follow every single procedure.
They have whatever is in their operation manual, whatever the protocol prescribed in the operation manual approved by the government of India, DGCA, they have to follow the protocol. I don't think the airlines can miss out anything. Only, I think, serious punishments, serious actions against the people who are doing these things will become a deterrent and will slowly stop over a period of time. The airlines can't do anything beyond following the strictest possible measures of protocol, security checks, double security checks, whatever they can do. The airlines can't penalize, go after these people. The airlines can only file complaints.
Airlines can only file complaints. The word coming in from Parvez Damania. Parvez, thank you so much for taking time out to be with us here on In Your Interest to weigh in with your perspective. Hope to keep having you on the show again and again. But for now, we'll let you go.